Hello America, this is Justin, news reporter on Channel 16 TFA News. And we are live today with some special guests all the way from Nigeria. Cameron is standing in Umofia as we speak, waiting to interview the natives about an upcoming marriage and the recent catastrophe with their crop goings.
Justin, I am here in Umofia today, live with a few of the natives. This is our first guest, the future wife of a man of this tribe, Aaliyah. Now, Aaliyah, tell us about your husband. To whom will you be married? And how do you feel about this?
His name is Yuzochi, and I am very excited to be married to a strong man that will provide for my family. My husband's relatives brought 60 pots of wine during my sending away party. This ceremony lasted a long time. There seemed to be no end to the celebration. My husband and I plan to have as many sons as possible, so they can work to become just like him and plant yams, the man crop, during planting season. So far, I had a few miscarriages and killed 2 sets of twins after the marriage. Maybe if I'm lucky, I will be born 2 sons. I share responsibilities with the other wives after my marriage.
Thank you, Aaliyah. Up next, we have Yuzochi. Now, Mr. Yuzochi, we have come here under the insight that your village has suffered a huge blow. Can you please give us some more insight on that?
Yes, I can. Here in Umofia, we've had a very bad planting season. It was the worst planting year we've ever had. Nothing seemed to be happening at the right time. We were expecting the rains to come very soon after we planted our yams, but they were much later than expected, and they only lasted for a brief amount of time. The sun would blaze and scorch our land of crops. They would burn like fire underneath our feet. Our yams were roasted where they grew. We tried to protect them by surrounding them with leaves and covering them, but those leaves were burned and shriveled as well. This was a horrible growing season, which continued for 8 market weeks. We had prayed and prayed for the rains to come, and eventually they came. In torrents and sheets pouring down. All of a sudden, our yams had washed away. They had way too much water. They were drowned, damaged, destroyed beyond recovery. Many days and nights, rain poured upon us and our crops non-stop. When the rains had finally stopped, we dug up our sad, miserable crops with despair in our hearts. It was sad, almost like a funeral. Many farmers wept and one even hung himself.
Thank you for recounting the hardships you and your village have faced in these times. Here we have Sophie. Now, being an upcoming wife, can you tell us about the duties you might have? Tell us about this role. You are having an upcoming wedding, correct?
Correct. I'm going to be given away to a very wealthy man who has offered a great bride price. It is an arranged marriage in which I do not have a choice in. However, I do comply with the choice made for me, and I am deeply grateful that I will be marrying a man as well respected as him.
What will your duties be as a wife?
My responsibilities as a wife take place in the hut. I cook for my husband and clean in the hut. I have as many children as the gods will allow, and I take care of them in my hut. I build hen houses attached to my hut and share stories with my children. I grow the crops we consider to be the women crops, which are cassava, beans, and cocoa yams. The women in the village do not have an important role in politics.
Thank you for detailing your role as a wife. It was much appreciated. Thank you, Sophie, for explaining your detailed role as a wife. Now, Yuzochi, do you mind explaining to us what your stance is on polygamy and how it's like having 2 wives?
No, I don't mind. Well, I can tell you that having multiple wives may sound like less responsibility, but once the children come around, nothing but hard work and grit will get you through. Families such as mine in Umofia operate under a hierarchy system, in which I am the top, my first wife comes second, my second wife comes third, and so on and so on. My wives both serve me food and take care of my children once I have them, and I am the head of the family.
That's very good. Thank you for explaining all of that, like the practice of polygamy here in Umofia. That's all the time we have left in Umofia. We thank the natives here for having us and giving us insight on their culture and tradition. Thank you for tuning in to TFA News. Back to Justin in the news desk.
Thank you, Cameron. We've learned a lot today. Umofia is very different from America. From the bridal offerings to the rainy and dry seasons to having multiple wives, Umofia has a lot to offer. Clearly, this land values tradition, culture, and yams. Coming up next on Channel 16 TFA News, Donald Trump claims Mars for the United States. Hillary Clinton assumes otherwise. Tune in next to find Trump's reasoning behind claiming Mars.